Hi, Reverend Paula Zabkar here from Spiritual Soul Center. Let's take a moment in this moment to connect, a moment of connection, a moment of awareness of our connection with each other, with all that is seen and all that is unseen. Let's just take a moment to breathe in and breathe out and to recognize, and not just recognize, but to feel the interconnectedness of all of life. To feel that life is energy, life is vibration, life is what is, it's how the universe is. And that we, in our bodies, seemingly separate from it all, are not separate at all from the universe, from the consciousness that is. So let's sit for just a moment and realize that whether we can see that with which we are connected or whether it's unseen, that we can feel the beauty and the peace and the joy and the amazingness that is life itself. Breathing in and breathing out and knowing that we are always we. And so it is. Amen. Well, I'm glad you're here with me today, whatever day that is, maybe Sunday morning. We have a guest speaker today at Spiritual Soul Center, and I want to read a little bit about her. Her name is Kate Rebus. She was born and raised in Swansboro, North Carolina, where she spent 25 years as a social worker. Then she decided to make a life change and went to live and work as a retreat manager at Southern Dharma, a 40-year-old Buddhist silent meditation retreat center in Hot Springs, North Carolina. And she did that from 2016 to 2019. She is currently deeply engaged in the work of social justice in the form of anti-racism action and education, participating in training for Zen chaplaincy through the New York Zen Center for Contemplative Care, a member of the Social Action Committee and chair of the Pastoral Care Team at Unitarian Coastal Fellowship in Morehead City, North Carolina. She is a new member of the Citizens for Diversity in Education in Carteret County and a sitting member of the board of Great Tree Women's Zen Center in Alexander, North Carolina. She is a live-in Mimi to a beautiful grandboy, Landon, a mother to Ashton and Zach, a yoga instructor, a visual and music artist, a published poet, and a writer with a book in process, a cat lover, a trained chef, and the daughter of a commercial fisherman. She believes in community care and the value of well and intentionally cultivated relationships that support us from birth to death. She is a practicing Buddhist. Please welcome Kate Rebus.
Hello, Spiritual Soul Center. I am so grateful and honored to get to be with you today. I am excited. I am a little afraid because this is a new thing for me, and new things are hard for all of us sometimes. So here we go. Elizabeth Gilbert wrote on the death of her wife, Raya Elias, "Grief happens upon you. It's bigger than you. There is a humility that you have to step into where you surrender to being moved through the landscape of grief by grief itself. And it has its own time frame. It has its own itinerary with you. It has its own power over you. And it will come when it comes, And when it comes, it's a bow down. It's a carve out. And it comes when it wants to, and it carves you out. It comes in the middle of a meeting, in the middle of a meal, in the middle of the day. It comes when we least expect it. It arrives. It's this tremendously forceful thing, and it cannot be resisted without you suffering more. The posture you take is you hit your knees. You hit your knees in absolute humility, and you let it rock you until it is done with you. And it will be done with you eventually. And when it is done, it will leave. But to stiffen, to resist, and to fight is to hurt yourself. She then goes on to say that this is a tremendous spiritual and psychological challenge to sit and relax in the power of grief until it has gone through you. It's something that impacts us at the physical level. This is not a disease of the mind. It is a full body experience. There are certain things that cannot be controlled that happen to you. Grief is one. And Elizabeth Gilbert says that for her, it is very close to the experience of love. My family and I found grief at our door in February of this year. It was my beautiful daughter's 28th birthday. And we were in the middle of our usual birthday celebration dinner, waiting for Scott. And he had not shown, and we were late into the evening, and we all knew that this was not the person that we had come to love and know. And we woke up the next morning to find that he was gone, had taken his own life. Grief set up housekeeping in our home in a way that felt like it burst through the walls and simultaneously blackened all the windows. We were in darkness. We walked those days shortly after in a place so much closer to wherever Scott was than the mortal plane that we had been left here to exist upon. We had lost the love of our lives. And everything hurt. And everything was a reminder. And there was no hiding place for any of us. And no amount of wishing it away, pushing it away, refusing it. No amount of that would change anything. So what do we do? What do we do when grief levels us to our very foundation? I will speak for myself when I say that there is no roadmap, no carefully enumerated stages, no dependable direction to count on, no place to hide. Loss and the grief that most certainly follows it is a condition I find to be universal and inescapable. But, oh, how I just wanted it to go away. I wanted to push it away. I wanted to banish it and deny its very existence for my comfort. It's the human thing to do. Things hurt and we don't want them to hurt, and turning away seems to be a method of survival and safety. But what if I told you those very behaviors, the seeking of bypassing grief, the pushing away, the wanting it to be not so, is the very thing that prevents our growth, our daily ability to live and thrive. Because the grief that accompanies death is only one kind of grief. This year, we have navigated a world ripped apart by racism, vicious political division, and a pandemic. We have all found ourselves with daily reminders of our daily relationship with grief. For me, this has taken the form of severance and loss of physical connections, both real and felt. The little things like family dinners, gatherings with friends, trips to my favorite bookstore have become things that threaten to take my life and the lives of the people that I love. My daughter, a public school teacher, leaves our home every morning with the very real threat of exposure. And my beautiful grandson, who goes to preschool 4 days a week, I send him off in the morning praying that he will come home safe to us. The temptation to push away the things I do not want to feel, it's ever present. My Buddhist practice tells me the root of suffering is attachment. And in the case of grief, that attachment is to the desire for things to be not so, to be different. And the subsequent energy expended to keep the sadness of grief away, at bay, at arm's length, it's exhausting, isn't it? I have found it to be true, however. The bow down required to meet the nearly insatiable nature of grief is a non-negotiable. And everything we do to try to avoid it only lengthens and intensifies the process. So I have to invite grief in. Yes, I have to invite it in. I have to make a place at my table, in my life, in my heart. I have to resist the impulse to regard it as a harbinger of fear and see it as a reminder of love. Because that's what grief offers me. When it comes, it offers me an opportunity to be with the love that was alive and well and still very much is. To take solace in memory and to celebrate the time when it was present. When it arrives, I allow myself to be with, to pat the comfortable seat next to me, and with as open a heart as I can imagine and manage, I ask grief to join me. Then I listen. Yes. Grief has come to be my friend, my comfort, and companion in this year of loss. When someone you love dies and you're not expecting it, you don't lose them all at once. You lose them in pieces over a long time. The way the mail stops coming and their scent fades from the pillows and even the clothes in their closets and drawers. Gradually, you accumulate the parts of them that are gone. And then the day comes when there's a particular missing part that overwhelms you with the feeling that they are gone forever. There comes another day. That's by John Irving from A Prayer for Owen Meany. There does come another day. I count grief among the other essential emotional experiences in my life, like love and courage and freedom. There is nothing to do, nothing for us to do when it chooses us. Nothing for us to do but lay ourselves bare before it and let it do the work it has come to do. Let it make and shape us into who we are meant to be. As it moves through us, grief arrives to offer us freedom. To feel the experience, to allow grief, to make open-hearted, gentle, tender space for it and not wish it away. To use the energy of resistance, of not wanting, and turn that toward the creation of the conditions we do want. Therein lies the secret. It has been 295 days since my beautiful friend, my co-parent, my ever-present compatriot and co-conspirator left us. And grief arrives now, still, but gently, to remind me of a great love, of a life lived with depth and joy, of graduations, birthdays, and celebrations, of the parts that will always be with me. May we take a moment now to be with all that is and is not with us, all who have been with us, who have moved on. May we open our hearts in a loving space next to us, without resistance to that which is, offering tenderness, kindness, and a welcome to our sadness, our memories in this moment, with reverence for the process. Let us hold ourselves and each other through those things we do not wish to feel, as we allow the entirety of our experience, our collective experience, to move through, connect, and heal us. May it be so.
So having spent some time in the stillness, in the contemplation, having taken a deep dive into the heart of our heart, into our own soul, let us breathe with gratitude for having allowed whatever it was and whatever it is to be known to us in this moment to rise up, to be curious about it, to sit with it, to be perfectly okay with however that is for us in this moment now. With a grateful heart, with a deeply satisfied soul, and with an open mind, we come into this moment now, refreshed and alive and grounded. For that we are grateful, and so it is. Amen. I'd like to say, if you're listening to this message on Sunday morning before 11 o'clock, we are having a Zoom chat with Kate. Please send me a request at info@spiritualsoulcenter.org, and I'll get an invitation out to you if I get it early enough on Sunday morning. What is the date? It is the 13th. The 13th. Yes. All right. So let's close this way. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be happy. And amen.